This is called a Chinese chair. It's an iconic design that's been replicated over and over, with prices ranging from a couple hundred to a few $1,000s. And the originals can cost a lot more.
The most expensive chair we've ever sold in Christie's is a set of 4 horseshoe-back armchairs at $9.6 million US.
1.6. I'll come to you. 1.7. Sorry? 3 million standing. 8.5 million is here though. And I'm selling. Is everybody else out? Ladies and gentlemen, at 8,500,000. They're yours, sir.
But besides adding a cool Chinese touch to your living room, these chairs tell a bigger story about the history of China and the history of sitting. Before chairs were a thing, Chinese people sat and slept on the floor.
The habit of sitting did not exist. We only learned to elevate our sitting habit from grounds to chair in approximately 9th to 12th century. Hi, I'm Nico, and I work at Christie's, the Chinese Works of Art department. We have 2 seasons of auctions each year, in spring and in autumn. Furniture section always has been a popular category.
Today, Chinese chairs sold at auction can fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some even reach the millions. But before we get to them, let's go back to a time when sitting on chairs wasn't even a thing. During the 2nd century, Chinese people sat and slept on the floor. But because of severe winters, sitting and sleeping on cold floors was unbearable, so the Chinese people invented the kang. It was a raised platform made of bricks and warm air circulating underneath. You could think of it as a bed. It wasn't really made for sitting. The Silk Road brought goods from faraway places like Persia and Alexandria, and through this route, ancient China was introduced to the stool. But there wasn't a Chinese word for chair yet, so they called it the huchuang. Finally, in the 10th century, Chinese chairs started to appear. The Chinese called their homegrown chair yi, which means to lean.
A typical type of Chinese armchair or Chinese chair would be something that I'm sitting on right now. This chair is called yoke-back armchair. This pair is dated to late Ming to early Qing dynasty. We do see a very nice flow in the curvature in the back post, in the armrest, and there is a very nice curvature of the back splat and also a dynamic style of the hat. This with the head here imitating the official's hat back in the time. So that would give prosperous wishes to the government officials that they will get promotion soon or very quickly to show that they are having power in hand. We would encounter this type of chairs in the nobility household or in the court. In the main hall or the main master would be using these chairs. The guests would probably be using a chair with the same back but without the armrests.
Another popular design is the horseshoe-back chair.
A horseshoe-back armchair, they have a very characteristic form of armrest and the back into a continuous horseshoe shape. That is very comfortable to sit on, of course. They would be normally used in a living room or for guests or a main hall.
These 2 designs are so beloved that they've remained unchanged for centuries.
Even though we see them now, we would not think that they are already old-fashioned.
The creation of chairs began to affect other aspects of Chinese life.
So when we learn to sit above the floor, we know that our living habits would be elevated so that we would need tables, we would need cabinets, we would need everything else.
By the 12th century, Chinese culture had moved from floor level to chair level. The ceilings were higher, there were waist-high dining tables, cabinets, and tall lamps. Women started to wear trousers. When Emperor Huizong commissioned his official portrait, he sat on a yoke-back chair instead of a throne. But back to the $9.6 million set of chairs. Why are collectors willing to pay top dollar for them?
The first boom is in the 90s. Research were being carried out and new findings of Chinese furniture was released in the 80s and 90s.
It turns out there's a reason why these chairs stay in such great condition for a long time. They are made from a strong material.
The precious wood huanghuali takes a long time to grow with very beautiful grains and very characteristic, distinctive smell. It takes more than 300 years to grow a plank that would be suitable in use for a table of probably only 20 to 30 centimeters. That's why it's been so loved, and that definitely has brought Western attention to Chinese furniture back in the 80s or the 90s, because Western society is actually the earliest group to start collecting or paid attention to Chinese furniture. Currently, we have clients from all over the world, but the focus of Chinese furniture market would be Asian buyers.
So how much would you pay for a really cool old chair?